All right, hello, friends. Welcome back to Gaming Dad Fujo Podcast, episode number 2. I want to start off by saying thank you to all the incredible messages that we got last time. That was really cool to see so many people coming back. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to be talking about what sort of gaming we've been doing since the last time we spoke. Spoilers, it's Hearthstone. We're going to be talking about science because we used to talk a lot about science, and I love science. And we're going to be talking about vending machines. So let's get started. He's got no time to play video games. He's the Gaming Dad Fujo. Nailed it. That is right. I don't have time to play video games anymore, but somehow I had time to make one of the greatest intros of all time. Let's get into some very self-indulgent gaming talk. Since the last time we spoke, I have been playing a bunch of Hearthstone. In the month of July, I actually made it to Legend. I came back after nearly 2 years away from Standard, and with what I think is limited playtime. I think we talked about it last time. I play kind of in the morning while I'm doing bathroom things. I play at lunch at work if I don't have to work through lunch, and I'll play at night during bathroom times, and sometimes while watching TV shows that are not piquing my full interest. For watching The Boys, I'm focused. Watching other stuff, sometimes I game during. But we entered Legend at rank 7,233. I took screenshots. And we peaked at 5,693. I wrote these numbers down. There's no way I would remember them. I have screenshots. Maybe I'll put them up on the YouTube portion of this. I use Big Beast Hunter. Very solid run. I was super happy with it. I was really trying to just throw the stream on for 2 seconds for my Legend rank challenges. It took me 2 attempts. I did lose the first time, and then I won the second time against a Celestial Druid. If you're familiar with the meta, they pulled off their big alignment turn, and if they had one more turn, they would have definitely beaten us. So I was really happy to make it there into Legend right as I was going to sleep one night in bed. My little phone keeping the room nice and light. Ever since the new expansion got released in Hearthstone, Nathria, I have not had a good time. If it wasn't for all the bonus stars that I got, that Legend rank of 5,600 was not enough to get the full 11 bonus stars, so I'm not guaranteed. Well, effectively, guaranteed bonus stars into Legend. I'm hoping this season, the traditional Dad Legend rank, what we used to do on stream a lot was the rank Diamond 5 and Chill, as we refer to it now. That's what I'm hoping for. It has been a little bit challenging. I am completely free to play now, so I'm not getting nearly as many cards as I would like, and building the decks that seems like a lot of other people are able to on ladder right now, and that's okay. I'm going to save up my dust, save up my gold, build it very slowly. Maybe I'll talk about it next episode here, next podcast here. There are definitely ways to be building. It seems like the math works out to 2 full competitive decks every expansion if you're willing to go through a little bit of pain. I think I got very lucky last season because I just came back and a lot of the legendaries that I opened worked perfectly for Big Beast Hunter, and I only had to craft 1 legendary, and it was obviously very strong for the past 3 months. And it's kind of funny talking about shows that I'm only half paying attention to, but clearly also very paying attention to while I've been Hearthstoning in the evenings. For some reason, Love Island Season 4 has been on in the background. And I'm actually thinking about my Hearthstone playing a lot like Megan from that season, if you're familiar. I feel like, Megan couldn't quite decide at first between Alex and Eol, kind of like, right now I can't decide on what deck I'm going to use in the Nathria expansion, my budget version of Skeleton Mage or Control Shaman. Neither of them are really working. Then Megan met Wes. But then Wes got sent to Casa Amor while Megan got to meet Dean and new Alex, and she recoupled with new Alex and his fantastic glasses, and then Wes came back single, and then Wes and Megan got back together. And that's kind of how I feel like I was last season with Megan and Wes together. They're so solid. Fujo was a Big Beast Hunter, so solid, knew what I had. I liked it. I was exclusive, not trying to jump around. And I kind of hope I get back to that point in this season of Hearthstone. I don't know what the deck is going to be, but we'll figure something out. We'll let the meta settle. Like I always said, the best thing to craft at the start of any expansion is absolutely nothing. And so I'm going to take my own advice and just kind of sit back and take whatever wins I can get. And whatever losses I get, that's fine too, because Dad Legend is the goal. And I think that's reasonable at this point. And as a side note, on Love Island, now that I've distracted myself from gaming talk, I definitely know I'm getting old when I'm watching a show like this or any other show like it. Because when there are these young and attractive people talking about their life theories. I think about sometimes how silly they sound with their confidence, and this whole idea that you can be dating someone, but then dating other people and lots of other people while at the same time talking about loyalty. And it all sounds so silly to me. Maybe I am old, and I know that I kind of am when you look at numbers, because that's how age works. And I know there's a lot of great people on, I mentioned Love Island season 4. There's a lot of great people on there. A lot of people that I really like and I think are funny and interesting and charming and all that, and it's great. But there's just a lot of silliness that goes along with it. And I definitely think that it's, the fact that that's the thing that stands out to me from that show kind of shows how old I am. I mean, it's great. You have some laughs. People are dropping shakes and, of course, some great banta and all that. But it's just sometimes the things that get talked about are very, very silly to me and my old self. I also did play some Mario Maker 2, but I've really struggled with how I'm going to talk about that. I don't know how I can talk about, I got to hold a red shell and I jumped on some stuff and threw it. And I know there are some very high-level competitive Mario podcasts, but I don't really know how to talk about that at the really kind of basic level that I play the game at super, super casually. I did used to send some level codes back and forth with some of my closest, best IRL friends. And that kind of stopped. They said my levels are too hard. And I don't know. I don't think I'm really that great at Mario or anything compared to some of the incredible videos that you can watch on YouTube or streamers on Twitch. But that stopped, sadly. And I'm hoping it can continue at some point. But we'll see. If it ever does, maybe this will ignite some fires with some of my IRL friends. But we'll see. I'd love that for that to happen. And we can talk a little bit about that. So next topic that I said I wanted to talk about was science. There was 2 topics in the news. I think I kind of want to make this a recurring thing that I'll talk about, because I always used to like throwing little science topics and tidbits and articles. But I want to kind of do that for every podcast moving forward. I think just interesting science things that catch my eye from between now and the next time we talk, basically. Well, I'll figure out a better name for it than that, but you know what I mean. So before we get started, quick discussion. I know when I have my master's of science through chemistry. I've talked about this on the streams before and all that. And I work as an analytical chemist now. So I want to talk about things in terms of science, in terms of real, quote unquote, real science, using the scientific method, which in short is a process of asking a question. You perform some sort of test or experiment. You record that data, you report the data. You have it peer reviewed in order to gain some knowledge for us as the human species, the science community, to gain some knowledge. So that when we're talking about something, and as a very silly example, someone comes over and hands you a bottle of champagne, and then you look at the label and you say, "No, Jeff, this is not champagne, this is sparkling wine. It's from Italy. Champagne has to come from the Champagne region of France. Read a book, Jeff. But also, thank you. I really appreciate this bottle. I'm going to enjoy it." I'm not a wine snob or anything, but you understand the point. You have to look at facts when you're looking at science, and things like that will matter in science. Not so much if your friend Jeff is giving you a bottle of champagne. Just say thank you and drink it later. So the first story that I read about, I actually heard about it first. I heard about it on my drive to work, and if it's talk radio, and I listen to talk radio a lot, and it's usually a bad sign when science is talked about in talk radio. I think we can all kind of agree on that for the past few years. I'm sure we're all aware. But this discussion was a new article, which was published, peer-reviewed, talked about how there were over 800 ancient virus bacteria discovered in frozen ice in the Himalayan mountains, which were these ice caps are starting to melt as there's global warming, and potentially going to release these ancient microbes and could cause another pandemic. And of course, like I said, listening to morning talk radio, they ate that up with whatever their version of fun is and went on all sort of tangents. And so I thought about this and I thought, oh, well, that does sound scary, but if it's coming from talk radio and not scientists, the CDC or whoever your local authority is, I did a quick little research myself through, science article searches. And you see that this is actually a relatively commonly published idea and topic. It's actually quite heavily studied. And you see that, yes, there are lots of people who study this they have been doing it for years, and I'm guaranteeing now they will continue to do it probably with better funding than ever before. So good for them. And this is kind of the idea of science, is we're discovering something new. These have never been discovered before, never been exposed to humans. So that's the idea of science, is discovering new stuff. So And when I look at a bunch of the articles and you look in the discussion section of them, they say all of them pretty clearly that these microbes have the potential to infect humans with fast spreading negative consequences. So you want to say, sure, Morning Talk Radio is going to talk about this. And you say, is the potential for something bad there? Yes. Is this research going to continue? Yes. Will we actually hear about it from, like I said, science organizations if it's going to affect us? Absolutely. Do follow-ups get published when they say there's potential? Follow-ups so far have said no on all of these formerly published articles like we talked about. And does that mean it's something to worry about now? Also, absolutely no. But I guess Morning Talk Radio needs to talk about something, so good on them. But again, you want to look at, like we said, as part of this process, you look at the existing knowledge base. And so that's what we kind of like to do. The second thing that came up was the Large Hadron Collider. Got turned back on in July of 2022 after a whole bunch of upgrades. The Large Hadron Collider is the world's largest particle accelerator. Scientists are able to do incredible particle physics experiments. They get to smash together super small particles at incredibly high speeds. I mean, the size of protons, moving as close to the speed of light as we can, which is super cool. We get to learn incredible things about a wide range of topics from these experiments. And then the doomsayers come out. And again, I say doomsayer and my mind goes to Hearthstone, 2 mana, 0/7 minion. That's not what we're talking about. I mean, people will say, the world's going to end, cause a black hole, whatever other theories, and that's fine. But then we look at the science, and the science has said, well, there's not enough energy, there's not enough mass, these things can't simply happen. And like I said, I have a science background myself, and I know I don't know enough about this specific topic to make any claims about it. So, maybe I need more confidence, as some of these other people do, to make these interesting claims. But I think the most interesting part about this was, I know it was because I saved some links of these articles that were published, and I'm in North America, I'm Canadian, on the morning of July 5th. And these articles that were published also in North America on July 5th said, oh no, the Large Hadron Collider is getting turned on today, and it's going to cause these problems, these potentially, at least a lot of the articles said potentially horrible things. But the problem is, you look at the timestamp, this is again the internet, things last forever, and you say, well, this is getting posted at, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you look at how time zones work, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is sometime in the afternoon for Europe. And the Large Hadron Collider is in Europe, meaning it had already been on for anywhere from 5 to 7 hours that day. And none of these horrible things had happened, which to me just kind of makes me chuckle and I get on with my day. But it's just an interesting little thing that, something, an article like that gets posted, and then you kind of look at your watch and say, well, kind of too late for this one. And another thing about Love Island Season 4. For those who don't know, it's a reality show. A bunch of single people come together. They try to find love. It's a remote vacation setting getaway. They partner up. This whole great thing. It's fantastic. And there's anywhere between 16 to 20 people partying, dancing, drinking booze all day and all night. They're in the sun, tanning. They're in the water all day. There's beers, wine, champagne all night. At night, they love to do these dramatic nighttime montages. Sometimes couples are making out. Maybe they'll show angry couples turned away from each other with dramatic music. Sometimes they'll show couples who have just made up really making out. The one thing that stands out to me, again, as an old person, how is there not a constant parade of these people getting up from their beds to have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night with 20 people? And like I said, they're drinking all day and all night, constantly. And it just, maybe I am just really getting old when this is one of my major takeaways from all these young, attractive people hanging out and partying all day and night, is that, well, how are not more people going pee in the middle of the night? And that's fine. Again, showing my age. So, last thing, vending machines. I'm not talking about little candy type. I'm talking about pizza vending machines. This is a topic that has come up on another podcast. I won't mention the name. Things on the internet live forever. It's not. I've mentioned this before on the old streams. If you're aware of it, you'll be aware. If not, that's fine. Pizza vending machines. The idea is you walk up, you can select all sorts of options for your pizza. Fresh pizza gets made right in front of you in a vending machine with a little show, and you insert your money, credit card, whatever, out comes a fresh pizza. Sounds great. I've looked into this recently. There's potential, I think, for franchising options, rentals, whatever you want to do. I can't find a single place right. I can only find one that's doing fresh ingredients, but we'll get to it in a second. Everything that I can find, and there's a couple I think that are actually located within maybe an hour and a half drive for me, and I do want to go try it. They're selling basically frozen pizzas. They got a machine with some frozen pizzas. You select, I want pepperoni. A frozen pepperoni pizza slides out. You see it heat up in the oven, and 10 minutes you get a warmed up frozen pizza. Not that great. The only website, I can only find one website that's talking about fresh vending machine pizza, and it has no information on pricing, franchise options, rental, ingredient restocking, anything like that. And it seems very, very sketchy to me. I love the idea of it. I got to say, I'm very pro the idea of a pizza vending machine. But in practice, I don't know. I'm not going to go and sit out there. I'm not a business major. I'm not going to sit there and try and work out the actual, the financials, return on investment, anything like that. But I'm just saying, I don't see it working as an investment. I don't see it working because of that as a consumer. I'm saying there's a lot of better ways to be spending your money. Subscribe here, join my Twitch, my blog, my OnlyFans, whatever you want to do. A lot better than pizza vending machines. That's all I'm saying. I'm anti pizza vending machine, and I don't even want to argue about it. Last thing I want to bring up before we go is the idea of bringing a wine bottle to a restaurant and paying a corking fee. Is that good, bad, tacky, or classy? So I was recently out for a fancy meal. I don't want to brag. But let's just say we celebrated something of an annual anniversary type thing. And we saw some of the wine prices. And I know I had a few bottles. I'm not, like I said, I mentioned the champagne thing. I spend $25 on a bottle of wine. That tastes fantastic to me. And there were glasses, I could barely find a glass at this place for $25. So I thought, hey, what if we had brought one of our bottles? Like, how much is the corking fee? We kind of joked about this. You know what I mean? We can have an affordable a whole bottle of wine instead of just a glass. 2 tables over, there's a older couple. I'll say older, maybe not that much older than me, by the sounds of it, by the way I talk about some things. They asked about the corking fee. The waiter, fantastic, same as our waiter, he said 25. Same 25, I know. It's same 25 actually. And the lady says, oh, fantastic. Pulls out a bottle out of her purse. They do the corking fee, and they get on with their meal. And I was sitting there eating my delicious steak, sipping on my incredibly expensive glass of wine, and I wasn't sure, like, at what point I'm allowed to be doing that. Do I need to make sure my bottle of wine is at least as much as the corking fee? I felt like it'd be silly to do if my bottle of wine's 25, corking fee's 25. That seems a little excessive. Do I need to make sure my bottle is double, triple? I don't know. Maybe you have to just be a serious wine person and really care, and then I guess it doesn't really matter because you want the wine that you want, and that's not really me. And I don't know how many fancy meals I really plan on going out for in the future, so maybe this doesn't really matter, but I just thought it was very interesting because I actually saw someone do it, and I thought that was more of like a movie type thing or just very fancy wine groups, but very, very interesting for me. Okay, and that is going to be it for episode 2 of the Gaming Dad Fujo Podcast. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm going to try and get these things uploaded to traditional podcast hosting sites. I have there's some reasonable free options that I think I know I have been looking into. I just have to get around to spending the time to do it. It was incredible to see all the great comments on that first video. Like I said at the beginning, so many of our old friends stopped by. I really miss a lot of the times that we all had, just me being able to log on and we'd all just get to chat. I really hope everyone's doing well. A lot of great messages to me, which really, really, really means a lot. So I really hope all of you are all doing well with your lives and everything that's going on there. I hope one day I'll be able to turn the stream on, whether it's for a legend, attempt or hopefully longer than a single game of Hearthstone. But we'll see. Hopefully we can figure that all out in these silly, super self-indulgent podcasts that I'm going to try to continue to do for the foreseeable future. So I want to ask and hope that all of you are staying safe. Be good to each other. Have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever it is that you are. Bye-bye.